Welcome to the Lila Life Show. I am your founder, your host, Linda Andrews, and I'm pumped to be here with you today. I want to talk to you about using the idea of seasons in your business and what this can do for you. In this, I want to explain broadly the process of integrative advisory and how I incorporate this into the Lila Life Collective. Whether you are a member or not, I think you can benefit from this. Okay. So, 4 times a year, there is a shift of seasons. This aligns with the solstices and the equinoxes. This is part of nature's rhythms, and these are happening no matter what. And depending on where you live on the planet, these land different times of they land the same time of year but affect different locations differently, right? If you're in the southern hemisphere or the northern hemisphere. What does this have to do for you? It's with you. In business, there are quarterly cycles, right? Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. And there's these 4 seasons. If you start to line up your business to be in harmony with these seasons, everything just hums along a little better. I have searched for years for a planner that I like and that I can actually use, a paper planner. There are so many, I've bought so many. I have finally, in this moment, landed on Best Self Co's planner, and they have a 6-month planner that you can fill in all the dates. And it is gorgeous and very intuitive to help you, if you like pen to paper, manage these quarters. So each of these planners is 2 quarters at a time for this specific one. They have different models that are quarterly, but I have found this such a beautiful tool to help me get in line with the seasons. So this date of the solstice equinox, it is around the 20th, 21st, 22nd. So I have picked the 21st as the end of a cycle and the end of a month, and the 22nd as the beginning, right? So there's the first of the month, but for the purposes of this quarterly, I have chosen to use the 22nd as the beginning and the 21st as the end. If this is not making sense to you, shoot me an email. I would be happy to walk you through this and get you a little graphic that can make this easier for you. You can send that to team@lilalife.co and we will get that over to you. Anyway, I'm sharing this with you because whether it's the 22nd or the 1st or whatever day you want, I like the 22nd because it is the natural invitation to what's already going on, right? And this also, if you follow astrology, like a nerd like me, you may also notice that this is usually around the time of the shifting of seasons. So, like the energetics, whether you are into astrology or not, the energy is changing, the seasons are changing, these things are happening, okay? So I start out with that just so that you can understand where I'm coming from. So these quarters, what I love about quarters, these are 90-day segments of time. And if you set a goal or set an objective or plan your month and your quarter and know that I'm going from now until the equinox or now until the solstice to do and focus on X, Y, or Z, you can do that. And it just really makes you get real with your time in a 90-day cycle and have some foresight and some anticipation for what is coming. Some of these stressful times, it's not that stress is bad, but we can overschedule and overcommit where we have to balance out these priorities. If you know that you are a business owner and you have to drive initiatives forward, I recommend, I think 2 hours a day, but you pick the amount of time that works for you to have focused, uninterrupted time. We always have that on the defense, tactical, get in the weeds, return this email, make that phone call time in our business. But if you can be carving out that time to have for strategy, for ideation, for deep thinking, for tasks that take a little longer, that can help you get a little bit done each day. And so over time, yes, you're still responding and doing the things that need to be done, but you're able to stay in that big picture and move the initiatives forward that you need to, whether you want to call this a project, a campaign, a goal, whatever you need to call that, get that done. And we live in a time where distraction and multitasking is so celebrated, but if you can just focus on finishing one thing at a time, the next thing I need to get done is X, and I am not starting Y until I complete X, even if that takes you three 2-hour time blocks, right? 6 hours worth of work, or you maybe get a full work day of deep work and focus. For most people, that's not going to happen. If it's a 6 or 10 hour task or project, you're not going to likely hammer that all out at one uninterrupted deep thinking time. And so setting yourself up for success to break that out over, say, 4 or 5 days and get it done versus never getting it done, it taking the whole quarter, you still haven't done it. Now we're on to the next quarter. So what I like about the quarterly cycles falling in line with those monthly seasonal changes, then the quarterly seasonal changes, is that 90 days gives you a natural time compression. What is urgent and important that needs to be tended to over the next 90 days? What is then important, maybe not as urgent, but you still want to compress into that 90-day cycle and get that done? It helps us get really realistic about what our priorities are and what needs that time, energy, attention, and money right now. And then eliminating what doesn't, or making sure what isn't getting that core focus is in that automation and delegation sweet spot so that you have freed up some of that time and energy to go into whatever is needed at this time. I like this conversation. I've been doing this type of work in implementing this in my business. I would say now at least I would say close to 2 years, if not longer. And what I've noticed is that it's just been like a layering in. It's first it's this, and then it's the next layer, and then it's the next layer, right? So starting with, okay, I'm going to look at this next quarter, and then I'm going to set these objectives for the month. You are not just all of a sudden going to be humming on all cylinders on day one. But if you're just realistic, I want to layer this in for the next 90 days. Maybe you're taking 2 to 3 new habits that you know you need to implement for your well-being, for your business, and get those going, right? And then including that deep work time that gives you the time to say, I'm focusing on these projects and these initiatives. The all or nothing approach can lead to burnout and can lead to misalignment. And so being realistic that this is going to take time, this is going to be an evolution, this is going to be a process. I just absolutely love. The other thing about the seasonality elements, and this is going to affect different geographies differently. What up, everyone? India, California, my Floridians, wherever you are, I celebrate you in the world. And you can tune into the natural rhythms and the harmony of nature, us as a part of nature, recommending if you can get outside regularly to be amongst nature. It's just a beautiful practice to start to help this come alive even more and even more. Where am I in that journey? Now I touch plants more, and I like to talk to all animals of all shapes and sizes as I'm venturing out through the neighborhood. And it just helps me feel more connected. And again, I see this time in nature, I see this time cultivating well-being continue to integrate into business, into the day-to-day happenings of Lila life. So it's just really beautiful how there's different parallels and mirroring that happens. And I'm talking about nature because as you're harmonizing with the seasons, you may notice things like, I'm a little bit more tired and mellow, and in winter, I need more rest. Then as it's coming into spring and summer, I don't know about you, but for us with spring, it's starting to be longer days, social schedule, everything just starts to shift a little bit where it's like, oh yeah, we can do a little bit of farming or tending to our garden after work, or in the morning, I have a little bit more time for that. Fitness feels heightened. And so just starting to understand how your natural rhythms during the different times of year can serve you as a business leader, as a family and a society participator, just honing in on those sweet spots. So wanted to make that connection there. Give this time, give the layering time. I love to talk about habits and cultivating habits. And when you're implementing these things, you're adding something in and you're crowding something out. So if you made a list of disempowering habits and you made a list of empowering habits, as you switch to the empowering habits, you are going to crowd out some of the disempowering habits. There's a ripple effect of this. And the end of the ripple effect, if there was ever an end, right? It's a continuation, it's a journey, but it's going to be some shifts, and those shifts can be rocky and those shifts can be adjustment periods, but the shifts will happen and you're going to feel even more rooted into yourself, focused on what you're working on, connected to what you're doing. And that integration, which I believe everything is connected, including your business, including your well-being, that's that integrative acknowledgement that You are not factions or this and then this and then this. You are one thing, one person connected to everything. And each of these shifts ripple effects to everything else. So that's what I have for you then. This is a great time to review. I was just wrapping, for April, that would be Q2, month one. And because this is ending on the 21st for me with this cycle, as I get time to that review period, I start saying, okay, this is what I was looking at mapping out for the quarter. We're finished with month one of quarter two. What else do I need to have my eyes on for the rest of this quarter, months 2 and 3? And then what am I looking down the pipe for month or quarter three, prepping for that next cycle? And so creating these rhythms in your business, working with these rhythms, it can help you get really clear on what you're focused on, communicate that to your team, communicate that to any key stakeholders, communicate that to customers, right? To clients, to audience. Hey, this is what we're looking at right now. This is what is evolving. So I hope this helps you. There may be a gem or two that really clicks and makes sense for you. I would love to hear what that is. My offer stands. Email team@lilalife.co if you need a little extra support. And I just wish you many blessings on the journey. Don't be afraid to take a breath and implement and integrate what will help you feel that deeper sense of alignment. Blessings to you on the journey.